Hey there folks, Chumpesque here bringing another audio commentary, and today I'm going to do a best of three between Infi and Sky. We're going to start here on Echo Isle, so this is a best of three from IEF, which was just played. The replays were just released, and it looks like we're going to be seeing Sky playing human, and obviously Infi enjoys playing elf versus human, just because no one's too big a fan of Human Mirror, just in terms of it's a bit, well, it can be a bit uninteresting, but more importantly it can come down a bit to randomness, and I'm sure like everyone likes to just play it a bit more securely. And a bit unfortunate for Sky, sending his militia up this way, so he's not actually going to get this Ancient of War creeping. It means he'll just have to build a farm in Infi's base, which is certainly well worth it. It gives you so much scouting. It really tells you when your opponent is teching, whether or not they're putting up a Huntress all. I mean, assuming they put it within the vision range of the farm, but they're quite likely to, just because that's quite a secure place. It also tells you what hero your opponent's going, and it's so annoying for your opponent to actually have to kill as well. And so we're going to be seeing some or actually we'll have to see a Warden first for Infi, and we'll have to see what Sky's going to go for. His altar's actually a bit late because he sent out that really early scout. He wanted to keep his economy going, and so we are seeing a Mountain King actually from Sky. Obviously Mountain King is quite popular on this map just because you can quite easily get this expansion up without needing an Archmage, and then you can just get a massive army and sort of just throwing it at your opponent. And it looks like Infi is just going to be going for some standard Ancient War creeping, obviously bringing in some wisps as well. I'm putting up another Moonwell here just so that he can heal up no matter where he is. And if there is like an Infi push on an expansion here, he doesn't have to run all the way back to his base to get some more mana on his Warden or to get some more health or whatever it happens to be. And it looks like this first archer does pop out. Infi with two wisps here, that will be more than enough to repair, and will mean that even if a creepjack comes in, he won't take too much damage. This farm has gone up, and Infi actually getting a bit distracted by it. Obviously you need to make sure that your Warden's actually running down rather than just being distracted by that farm, which sort of the AI wants you to be, basically. Infi actually rerouting his Ancient of War now, clearly worried about this harassment. The one footman coming in, but I think Sky would probably just going to go for some normal creeping, considering he went for that Mount King first, and that does look like what he's going to be doing. Obviously you can creep out this Merc camp pretty quickly, even with a Mount King. You can pick up the Shadow Priest as well, which is very useful. And meanwhile it looks like actually Infi's just going to be chasing down this one low footman, which is a good kill, but I think getting level 2 at this point would be quite nice. And looks like these creeps got the final hit on that peasant there, and so Sky is going to be able to creep out this camp. Did pick up that Shadow Priest, will be able to heal up his footman and his Mount King, which is just so important against that Warden. And it looks like finally Infi starting his creeping now, and we'll probably see expansion attempts by both sides, I imagine. Or I guess we won't necessarily, but certainly it seems quite likely, especially considering this is Echo Isles. And so we will see Infi finishing off this creeping, getting well towards level 3 actually by the time he's done that. And this Mount King now just over level 2, and we'll start creeping out this camp. And then if he creeps out the expansion as well, that will get him level 3, which is going to be very nice, because that level 2 bolt is so strong. Although actually, considering this is a whole world elite thing, the one spectator is Ted, and Sky and Infi, I'm not sure if they're playing on land, so we might see blinking away from bolts, so playing a role. Obviously that's a really nice thing if you can do it, but it requires such low ping that really, if you're not on land, it's pretty tricky to do. And then this Warden now getting towards level 3 already, and setting up an expansion already. This is a really early expansion from Infi, but as we can see, Sky's going for an expansion as well. It's almost a shame that he hasn't just tried to trick Infi and go for some massive push, while Infi's dedicating all this money towards an expansion of his own. Excuse me, before he sees that Sky has one. And it looks like Sky picking up boots here actually, selling his TP and buying a staff of teleportation as well. Really nice against that Warden, who obviously can really chase you down if you don't have some absolutely awesome method of getting away, such as staff of teleportation, because it's just between blinks and the slowing from Shadow Strike can really do a lot of damage. And meanwhile this Mount King has now hit 3, so that bolt is going to be such a huge factor. And you can see one bolt takes that Shadow Priest down to basically no hit points. Really nice, and simultaneously Sky's expanding, so some really aggressive play here from or some really sort of stretching play here from Sky, really doing everything he can just to stay in this game, looking like he's going to be picking up some mercs as well. Obviously as long as he can defend his expansion, which is obviously a huge risk. If there's an Ancient of War going up as well, that could cause even more trouble. There is a Hunter's Hall going up here, and a second Ancient of War going up here, so obviously there is a possibility of trouble here for Sky. Just that Huntresses can absolutely destroy that Mountain King, because obviously Bolt isn't too good against it, and you don't have the water elementals that you need. And so Sky needs to be picking up those mercs, just do that piercing damage to those Huntresses, and also just because a Warden plus loads of mercs plus lots of Huntresses as well is so strong at taking down expansions, things like that, because you can't really repair because the glaives from the Huntresses just take you down, or take down the peasants so quickly. And so it looks like Infi can be able to do a bit more damage, actually getting bolted and at such low hit points now. Sky, without enough mana to do another bolt though, will be hoping for a bash, but it looks like he's not going to get one. This Warden, very low hit points now, actually going to run into this corner, and it looks like this Mountain King is running away, so the Warden will know that she is okay for now at least, and this and actually could use hide as well. I'm not sure if Sky does have dust, so that wouldn't be too useful. And this expansion now done, but unfortunately running it the wrong way, considering that Sky's probably has his up and running. Yes, Sky's expansion is already up and running, has an arcane tower, really nice against those against that Warden, just because obviously you can blink in and do a lot of damage to the gold line. And it looks like Infi has managed to take down this farm, and will be able to continue to pump Huntresses. And this Warden now coming in, gonna try and take out the remainder of these footmen, but now that Mountain King's got out of there, there's really not much hope for them anyways. And this Warden, unfortunately, not too much moon juice to heal up on, but Infi's tech is just finishing now, whereas Sky's hasn't even started yet. That's not a huge problem for the human, but it's certainly not sort of what you want. And it looks like this Tree of Life should be moving in to take that mine any second now, and that'll be so nice. But the Mountain King runs back in, gets another bolt, and this Warden, already at 170 hit points, really needs to stay back because he doesn't have really any healing. He doesn't have a Shadow Priest anymore, and that would be quite nice. But it looks like this Shadow Priest for Sky will go down, and Infi will be able just to continue to dominate this map. And Infi just being able to put down so much pressure, because obviously Hunters are just so much better than basically any human tier 1 unit. Obviously riflemen are okay in a large enough number, but even then you'd have to build a blacksmith and stuff, and you'd really just rather get your tech up. Although interestingly, Sky not getting any tech up at the moment, still sticking at tier 1, obviously thinking you can do more damage than tech a bit later, but you have to think that once these lures start going up, Sky's could be in a lot of trouble. And actually Sky taking a lot of damage down this Mountain King, but Infi deciding to turn around. I think he knew he couldn't get the kill there. He's only has enough mana for one more Shadow Strike on that Warden, and he'd much rather just take down these footmen and, more importantly, get down this expansion, which is actually taking a lot of damage from the creeps now. But and actually Infi picking up an Ogre Mauler as well, and I imagine, or it looks like that Sky picked up the Mud Golem, considering that Ogre Mauler is slowed. Although I can't see it. Maybe the Mud Golem was immediately killed by that Ogre Mauler or something. But looks like Sky putting a lot more pressure on this expansion, but will not be able to take it down. And I think Sky needs to start up his tech if he hasn't already. Yes, he has. And Sky now TPing, or using his staff to get away as well, and finally this expansion is up, and Infi will be willing to pay to repair it, just so that he can actually start entangling that mine and putting up an Ancient of Wonders as well. Obviously Ancient of Wonders so important for that ward, because you can just get all those clarities, mana potions, healing potions against that Mountain King, just so important in this situation. And this one wisp actually very low, but does turn around to detonate, and this Mountain King will be we'll get that little bit of extra experience, and we'll continue with his getting lots of extra mana from that clarity, as well as that arcane scroll. And looks like Infi actually might get a creep jacked a bit here. Not going to be too bad a creep jack. Picking up a Wand of Illusion, pretty nice item at this point, considering there's no dispel from that human apart from obviously on the Shadow Priest, but you don't want to be wasting all your mana on dispelling what might be fake wardens. And it looks like actually another bolt coming in here, and this Warden constantly low on hit points due to all this mana on the Mountain King, just constantly bolting that Warden, regardless of whether she's hot hit points to start off with. And a blacksmith now going down for Infi. That tech is getting pretty close to done, and these lowers are up. Obviously there's a couple of Dryads in the actual army, and tier 3 tech is just starting now for Infi, who is almost fully saturated on this mine here. And it looks like Sky being forced to hide in the back of his base just so he can get the clarity going on this Mountain King. He's really made very good use of that mana that he's had, and this blacksmith is now finishing, and his tech should be done any second now as well. So we probably will be seeing, I guess we'll be seeing workshops as well as arcane sanctums, although we'll have to see. Certainly when you have the Mountain King, it's very nice to try and pick up some Griffin Aviaries and go for mass air, but certainly it's a bit trickier when you have when you're playing against the Warden, who will be getting an orb very soon as well, and actually getting a fan of knives off there. So it looks like looks like actually we will be seeing a lot of area of effect damage coming from Infi. We might see a Panda second, or we might see solo Warden. Certainly, both are very viable strategies, and obviously it's a bit trickier considering there's a level level 3 Mount King. Getting a level 1 Panda would be quite easy to bolt and then surround. Obviously Panda's so easy to surround because they're both huge and melee, and all their spells require them to be pretty close to the action, basically. And it looks like Infi running back here, gonna pick up a clarity potion probably, and then get back out of there. Maybe even a moonstone as well would be quite nice. Yeah, there's the clarity there, and these Dryads continue to do damage, but not able to actually put down significant amount. And it looks like a workshop is now going after Sky, being power built, and in his base he's teching a tier 3 and going for a Griffin Aviary. Really interesting build here, because obviously excuse me, obviously if he were to go for mortar teams, he wouldn't really have much ground to back them up, and